Hey everyone, I wanted to send you a quick video about what I went over with the students this week about how to utilize SCOIR to request their transcripts and letters of recommendation when they're applying to colleges this fall. So I'm going to share my screen with you and I'm going to walk you through just exactly what we went through. When they start with SCOIR, they're going to see that this is their landing page. And they're going to see that it starts with apply with SCOIR. I really want to encourage you to not get tripped up on that because we are not using SCOIR to do any college applications this year. SCOIR does partner with an application program called Coalition App, which is similar to the Common App, but we're not using that. So when you get to this page, I told the students to just X right on out of it because we're not using SCOIR to send applications this year. So this is your landing page that your student will be on, and this is all the things that they will see and the places that they need to start from to get going on their transcript requests and their letters of recommendation. But before you start that, I want you to go to right here under the Me drop-down arrow and go to View Profile. There's a couple of things on this dashboard that we need to take care of. First off, that I talked to them about is this FERPA section. That's the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, and they need to grant both of these, both the release authorization and the waiver of rights. The release authorization gives me permission to send documents on their behalf to colleges and universities. So that's really important. The waiver of rights is a very typical thing that students agree to, just saying that they're going to waive their right to request to look at any kind of letter of recommendation or anything that's in their college file. That's pretty standard practice. If they don't feel comfortable doing that, they don't have to, but just know that colleges kind of like this to happen, but that they cannot adversely examine your student if they don't waive those rights. So it should not affect any admissions decision. But this release authorization is really important because I need that in order to send their transcripts and anything else that has their name or identifying information on it to colleges. The other part of their profile that I want to pay attention to is this section over here under their name where it says My Drive. In My Drive, this is kind of like a holding area where I'm going to drop all kinds of documents and information this year. Already, all students will have at least 4 things in here. They'll have a set of college organizers. This is a whole set of different types of spreadsheets. One of them is this activities and achievement sheet that I've been encouraging them to fill out. This has all the activities that they've participated in during their high school years, has the times of service in it, and it gives them a space to kind of think about how they would describe it. On most applications, you have a very short amount of space to describe your activities. So if you prep all this in advance and have this next to your computer when you're doing your applications, you're going to be able to fly through that section. And you're also going to make sure that you give all the colleges and universities the same information. Whereas if you're trying to think of it off the top of your head, you may well forget something or not have a complete idea of what you need to put down. This is a great form to complete with families because you may have ideas and remember things that they participated in that they don't. So it's a good thing to do together. Another thing that's in the My Drive is the College App Basic Information Sheet. We've gone over this year as well, and they've had copies of all this. It's front and back. This is information that every single college application is going to request, from their birthday to their social security number, their driver's license number, basic information about their parents, and information about their high school. So all of that has been pre-filled on the high school section for Notre Dame. If they attended a different high school before Notre Dame, they need to get the information about that one as well. But again, if they will have this sheet with them as they're applying for schools, it is going to make it so much easier. And it's also going to decrease the number of texts you get asking for information. Other things that are in here is how Common App and SCOIR work together. This is a very short, easy to read, 1-page document that just talks about how Common App will look differently in the letter of recommendation part if you're using SCOIR, which we are. And then great questions for a college tour. I hope your kids are going to have some feet on campuses this fall to take a look around. And these are great questions to ask that might not be answered on the standard spiel you get with a tour, but they're good things to know. So as we go throughout the year, all kinds of things are going to be added to my drive. I'm going to put their initial transcript in there. I'm going to put any kind of scholarship application that I come across in there, as well as a compilation of fall preview dates for colleges around us that I'm working on right now. So anytime they want to know where that information lives, whether it's on a bulletin board outside my office or in an email I've sent, if they can't find any of those, it's always in my drive. And this is accessible to them all the time. So it's a really great resource for them to use. Okay, now we're going to talk about once a student has applied to a college, how do they request a transcript from me? So now we're going to go to the My Colleges section on their SCOIR dashboard. And we're going to see the places that we're going to use to request your transcript. So as they begin to think, oh, I'm interested in a college. Oh, I think this university is cool. I want them to add this under the following column. So if they're interested in the University of Michigan, they're going to start typing and eventually it'll pop up and they'll just click on it. And now you can see that it's been added to the list of colleges that they're following. So it's just really colleges they're interested in. This can change absolutely throughout the year as you learn more, as you visit, as you take things off your list, add things on. It's no big deal. It doesn't obligate them to apply, to attend, to go on a tour. Nothing. It just gives them an idea of who they're thinking about, and it gives me an idea too. So when I'm in their SCOIR account, I can see kind of what's on their radar. Now, once a student has actually completed their application and submitted it, that's very important. They can request a transcript and they'll go into SCOIR and do that. But it's really important that they not request a transcript until they've actually submitted their application to the college. Because otherwise, I'll send a transcript and it won't have an application to match up to. And that causes some problems out in cyberspace with the universities. So let's say that a student has applied to Berry College and they've actually submitted their application. They can move it to the applied column over here two different ways. They can click these three buttons and just click mark as applied, or they can drag and drop. And we're going to move it into the applied past tense column. When they do that, this screen is going to pop up and you're going to see a couple of things. It's going to ask you when you're going to college. Most of you will start in fall of 2024, so this is correct. And then it will ask you how you applied. Berry College is part of the Common App, so you can tell me that you applied through the Common App or on their website. Some colleges don't participate in Common App, so it's only going to list the website. Now, let's say I applied to Berry through the Common App, and so I click it. You're going to notice that it gives you a place to put your Common App ID in there, and that's important. Once you do your Common application, I would write that number on this basic information sheet so you have it to reference, or save it in your phone in the notes section, and then just write this in SCOIR. So put your Common App ID in there, whatever it is. This helps ensure that documents that I send when they know you've applied through the Common App match up with your Common App. Then it'll ask you, Berry also has two different application dates. They have an early action date, like a lot of schools do, and they have a regular decision date as well. So choose which of these are you applying through. Well, I'm going to apply for early action. I love early action. It just gets stuff out of the way and gets you decisions quicker so that you're not waiting and wondering forever on all this college stuff. So you'll choose that. You can leave your major undecided. A lot of you don't know what you're doing, which is totally fine. And then you don't have to worry about this SAT, ACT reporting. So now you're going to click save. And as soon as you do that, it generates an email to me saying, hey, Susie just applied to Berry College and I know to send a transcript. And 9 times out of 10, I send a transcript on that very day that I get that email. All right. So that's how you request a transcript. Now let's say that you applied to Tennessee Tech as well. You've already sent the application. You're going to move it to the applied column. I want to make sure that you know that we're never going to use this applying, these applications that are in progress and all that stuff. We're only going to use the following and the applied column. But I want to show you one difference that Tennessee Tech has. They are not on the Common App. So you're going to see that they just ask for your college website. And so that's how they know that you've applied to them. And they also don't have an early action deadline. They have rolling admissions, which means that as you apply, you get a decision probably within 2 or 3 weeks. And so you're going to click a rolling on here. So those are two differences that you're going to see on screen after you've clicked that you've applied, depending on the type of school that it is. Okay, so now let's say that you've got a school that you need a letter of recommendation sent to. While we're still in the My Colleges tab, we're going to click on Application Documents. That's going to bring us to this screen right here, and you'll click on the Request a Recommendation button. Then you're going to start typing the last name of a person that you want to request a letter from. So let's say Ms. Champlin is who your student wants to request a letter of recommendation from. You'll start typing it, it'll populate, you'll click on her name. This is basically compiling an email to Ms. Champlin. The subject is going to be request for a recommendation. And then here in the message part, I've really encouraged students to make sure they write a nice, thoughtful message, short and sweet, to Ms. Champlin instead of just sending it as a blanket recommendation request. So you would write a message, "Hi, Ms. Champlin. I'm hopeful that you would be willing to write me a letter of recommendation. My earliest deadline is November 1st. They're going to send this at least 3 weeks in advance of their deadline, preferably more, to give teachers time to write a thoughtful and fulfilling letter that's going to really express their feelings about a student. Once they click all of this and they type their message, then you can click send, and this sends an email to Ms. Champlin and lets her know that you've requested a letter of recommendation. I love for the students to go ahead and give a personal heads up to a teacher before they do this, and I also reminded them that they need to ask kindly for a recommendation, not demand one, not tell them, but ask kindly. And please, please, please make sure you say thank you once one has been written. These take a lot of time from our teachers and our counselors, and we want to make sure that we know we appreciate all the effort they're putting into the process on our behalf. That's pretty much it. If they have questions, you can always have them stop in to see me. If you have questions, send me an email, and we'll just get through this application season. No problem.